But tonight, are the suburbs under siege? President Trump insists that if Joe Biden is elected, we can say goodbye to the burbs.
Well, tonight, KPIX High Susie Steimle talks to voters in this key demographic about what it's like to be targeted as housing takes center stage in the election.
If the left gains power, no city, town, or suburb in our country will be safe.
In a series of speeches, tweets, and campaign ads,
Suburbia will be no longer.
President Trump has made it clear he wants suburban voters to feel as though their safety is at stake.
So they wanted to defund and abolish your police and law enforcement, while at the same time destroying our great suburbs.
It's a tone reminiscent of 1968.
And the wind quickly dispersed the tear gas used
when riots broke out in response to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and then candidate Richard Nixon spoke of the silent majority.
It is the voice of the great majority of Americans, the forgotten Americans, the non-shouters, the non-demonstrators.
Just look at President Trump's latest ad.
You have reached the 911 police emergency line. Due to defunding of the police department, we're sorry, but no one is here to take your call.
Look familiar? 52 years ago, Nixon ran this.
I pledge to you, the wave of crime is not going to be the wave of the future in America.
My feeling is that all suburban voters came here for one thing, and that's safety and peace and quiet. And they will vote for peace and quiet and safety.
Maria Rutenberg says this message is working. She moved to Redwood City to start a family 25 years ago. She doesn't want to see the suburbs change and plans to vote for the president.
For me, it was important to have my own place with my own yard, with nice neighbors, safety, and nice schools.
Last month, the president tweeted, "The suburban housewife will be voting for me. They want safety and are thrilled I ended the long-running program where low-income housing would invade their neighborhood." The program he's talking about?
AFFH rule. AFFH rule. A disaster.
AFFH stands for Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing. It's an Obama-era rule intended to combat systemic racism in housing. Some called Trump's rollback of AFFH a racist dog whistle.
It's been hell for suburbia.
Joe Biden plans to reinstate AFFH, to which the president promises
your home will go down in value and crime rates will rapidly rise.
That is something Anna Kramer in Burlingame worries about.
Affordable housing, it depends on what type of affordable housing. It could bring an element that's undesirable into your neighborhood.
A Stanford Business School study looked at the introduction of low-income housing in 129 counties and found the development of affordable housing actually decreases both violent and property crime in low-income areas and does not increase crime in high-income areas. The study also found in low-income neighborhoods, home prices rose 6.5% after the affordable housing was developed, but in high-income areas, home prices dropped 2.5%.
We can have the suburbs and have more housing and have great lives for people.
Carolina and Adam Nugent are new parents who just purchased their first family home in San Mateo. They plan to vote for Joe Biden and say they want to see changes to their neighborhood to combat systemic racism.
It's not good to have segregated schools by race or income.
No. So we don't want to live in that neighborhood. We don't want to live like that. That's not what we signed up for.
Yeah.
In fact, that's why they chose San Mateo.
We lived in Palo Alto, we lived in Mountain View, and we talked about having kids. I'm like, oh, we can't have a kid here. It's just such a bubble.
John Ebnetter agrees. He lives in a multi-generational home in San Mateo, and he wants to see more affordable housing built for
grocery store workers, our teachers, our first responders. They cannot afford to live here. We're losing the ability to function as a city, and it's showing its effect even more so during the pandemic than it did prior.
When it comes to building affordable housing in the burbs, the American dream is becoming another American divide.
It's important that whoever is the president understands that they worked very hard for their houses and they don't want them to see it go down in value.
While others say the dream isn't dead, it just needs to look a lot less exclusive.
Affordable housing are for teachers or for people who are just living in the community. They're not for other people that are scary. That doesn't even make sense. It's just fear-mongering.
Susie Steimle, KPIX 5.
Well, we invite you to keep sending your stories and your ideas to projecthome@cbs.com and see all of Susie's reporting on our website.